Hi, this is John Colocha from J. Colocha Guitars. Welcome back to my shop. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. Today what we're going to do is we are going to do some work on my Les Paul. Not a real Les Paul, it's an Epiphone. But actually it's a really nice guitar. I got this guitar, all I've really done to it is I did a setup on it. I changed the nut, I put in a nice unbleached bone nut, which I really like. Did a basic setup. I think I may have done just a little bit of fret work. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember. Oh, of course I put my beloved clip locks on it. Everybody hates these, but I love them. What can I say? I'm a child of the 90s. Throw the guitar around your body. That's how we used to do it. Got used to it. I have these on almost all my guitars. I've never had one break in, God, close to 30 years, I think. 20 years, 30 years. I love it. In fact, this particular one may actually be 20, 30 years old. They're great. I love them. Anyhow, what we're going to be doing is changing the pickups in them. There's really nothing wrong with these pickups. They're not the greatest pickups on the planet, but they're not bad. You know, they're pretty good. They sound like humbuckers. You plug it in, it sounds kind of like a Les Paul. Not bad, not bad. Especially considering what I paid for this guitar. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't an astronomical figure. It was a very reasonable price. But the problem that I'm having is this switch is flaky. It was flaky from day one. It hasn't gotten better with time. Even when the switch was okay, one thing I never liked about it is you just touch it. You barely touch it. Oh, and it switches. And actually, sometimes just bang it on the guitar. If you bump it or something like that is another strum hard. Every now and then the switch will just pop out. It's especially bad going from the bridge pickup to the middle. That's just, I mean, I am just barely touching that thing, and it switches on me all the time. But now it's getting flaky too. It's making noise. It sounds dirty. Yeah. So we're going to replace that. But while we're replacing that, I'm going to take the opportunity. I have some pickups laying around that I like a little bit better, that I think are going to be better in here, and we'll look at those in a little bit. And while I'm in here, we're going to replace those too. Now, we're going to find out within this thing together. I hear that that these newer ones, I haven't been in a recent Epi Les Paul, not in a while. I hear that they're not standard pots, maybe some PC boards and connectors and things. I have no idea. I haven't been in here myself. We're going to discover it together. We're going to see. Maybe we can reuse some of the components if we can. We're going to. That'll be nice to show you how to maybe desolder and clean some components. I have a feeling that maybe we're going to have to replace some stuff. I don't know, but let's figure it out. Let's get started. So step one, what I always like to do, I know that people agonize about doing these changes without taking the strings off. You can do that. What you can do is you can come up here and wrap tape around it if you're going to do that. And truthfully, I have done that when I've been experimenting with different pickups. And yeah, I might go through 5 or 10 pickups, and I don't want to keep putting strings on it. So what I'll do is I'll wrap some tape around here nice and tight after I've loosened it up, so that I can take off the tail piece and sort of save strings. It just saves me a lot of time and frankly a lot of money too when you're changing pickups that much. If you're going to do that, what I suggest you do, don't put the tape on with the sticky side down. Put the tape on so the non-sticky side is down, and sort of wrap the tape over itself nice and tight. That's going to make it much easier to take off. It'll just come right off without any residue there. But the technique we're going to use to remove the strings, notice I left the outer strings in. If you don't do that, the tailpiece will just fall off and it'll scratch up the guitar and do all sorts of stuff. So now that I have those out, I'm going to cut them in here. Now that's it. remove the tailpiece. Take off the bridge. If you want to, make a note which way the screws go. They're supposed to go like that, supposed to go in. A lot of times, for whatever reason, they're flipped around. It's really not all that critical. As long as the guitar works the way this is set, it's not all that critical. But what you don't want to do is, after everything is set, the intonation set, because we're probably not going to have to change the intonation on this anymore. Although this might, these screws will certainly, the jack screws will certainly move around a little bit, so we'll have to do a little bit of a setup on it. But what we don't want to have to do is reset the intonation from scratch. So if you put this back in the way you took it out, you're probably not going to have to touch the intonation anymore. Okay? Actually, I'm just going to screw these down because I don't want them rattling around. So we're going to do a little bit of a setup on this when we're done, and maybe you'll see that. I'm going to take these off. I don't do a locking wrap. So mine come off pretty easily. If you put the strings on right in the first place, a locking wrap doesn't really buy you anything, in my opinion. No reason to do it, but that's a matter of opinion. That really is a matter of opinion. There are lots of very highly respected techs and musicians that swear by the string being locked up here, and there are various ways of doing it. You can go look them up on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find tons and tons of videos on how to do a string lock. Okay, I'm counting all my ends, but what I don't want to have happen, you can see that I have some an old towel down. I have this little rest here that I made. Don't remember if I got this from somewhere. I made this myself, but I don't remember if I saw it somewhere else or if I just copied what Stu Mack had. I don't want these to get embedded. Once these fall onto the towel here, they disappear, and very easy to scratch things up. So we don't want to do that. So we kind of want to not just grab the ones we see. Count them. There's only 6. A hand and a little bit. That's all. That's all you need. All right. So count them up. Okay. Take off my strap. Put it over here. And that's it. Up, and you can see. You can see what's happened here. This nut, when I took off the strings, the nut came loose. Let's see. Did I even glue this nut in? I'm not sure. I may not have even glued it in. Nope. I don't think I glued it in at all. I probably just left it in there and just left it, because when I do my nuts, I do them nice and tight. They snap into place, and the strings do the rest. But what we'll do when we put it back in, we're actually going to put a little bit of glue here. What I like doing, I put a little bit of white glue right on the front here, and that's enough to hold it in place. But you can see that this guitar, I've had this guitar like this for a couple of years now, I think. And just the string tension is enough to hold that nut in place. So you really don't need a lot here. A little drop of white glue, a little drop of C8, a tiny little drop of C8. You need just very little. It just needs to not fall out when you take the strings off. And I like putting it right on the front face here, because if you put it on the bottom, it becomes very hard to break that free. If you put it on the front face, you can kind of come up here with a little piece of steel or hammer or whatever, give it a little tap, or give it a little tap from the side or whatever, and that'll just go and come right out without any drama. Okay, so we'll just put my nut aside. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to have a little look inside, and let's see what's actually in here. This is going to be a surprise to me too. I have no idea what I'm going to find. There we go. Now, when you do this, be careful. However it is you're going to do this, be careful, because it's very easy for this to slip off and to make a big gouge. Now you can see I could actually put this screwdriver in, and it sits in there very well. You know, these are in pretty good shape. I've never gone in here. Nobody's ever played with this, so the Phillips head screws are not all mangled up. Plus, this is a very good screwdriver. This is a Wera. Yeah, this is a Wera. Weha makes really good screwdrivers too. I like Weras. But anyhow, so it's not too likely this is going to slip off, but be careful anyhow. I like kind of putting my fingers around it like that. Maybe you see it better if you do it like that. I like to put my fingers around it, so if it does slip, it at a minimum limits the damage, but ideally we're going to prevent the damage. So let's take these out. And sometimes they're in here pretty tight. You may have to get a screwdriver with a real handle on it, because what I don't want to do again is use a lot of force. If this is going to take any more force than just a little bit of finger force, I'm going to switch to a different screwdriver with a bigger handle on it. It's going to have the same tip. In fact, maybe I'll just show it to you right back. So here we go. This is a number 1 Phillips. Same as that. It's a number 1 Phillips again. It's a Wera, except it has a real handle on it. It's not as convenient to spin it, but it allows me to use much less force, which means I have much better control. Okay, so we're running into our first problem. We're going to deal with that in a minute. Let's keep getting these off. That last one came out a little hard, so I am going to switch to this bigger one. Yeah, it just takes a little bit longer, but I have much better control. Okay. I'm going to stop the tape. I'm going to reposition things, and I'm going to show you what I have here that we need to deal with. Okay, problem number 1. Straight from the factory like that, unless somebody at the shop that I bought it from did it. That is stripped. That is stripped pretty badly. We're going to see if the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can maybe muscle that out. I'm going to put the screwdriver in there, and I'm going to try to just push down hard, be very careful, and see if I can just muscle that out. If that doesn't work, if I feel like I'm doing more damage to it, what I'm probably going to do is maybe try the rubber band trick. Truthfully, that hardly ever works for me, but it's worth a try. And if none of that works, we'll just drill it out, or something like that. So let's see what we can do. So the first thing we're going to try is just muscling it out. So again, I'm going to be... I don't think that's going to work. I really don't think that's going to work. Let's see, maybe this one here is a better fit. Yeah, okay. So this screwdriver here is actually a slightly better fit in there than this larger one. Even though they're the same size, this one is a little bit looser, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get a grip on that. I think I'm just going to make it worse. But this one here, that doesn't feel, see, you can kind of see I'm kind of getting a little bit of a grip on it. So what I'm going to do, very carefully, instead of just trying to turn it, I'm going to lean on it. But I'm really taking pains to push down straight, and not just straight with the ground, or straight with even the guitar. Straight with the screw. You probably can't see it, but that's not even in straight. That's in at a weird angle. So something went wrong when they put that in. Okay, it went in at a weird angle. Instead of taking it out, maybe rotating this and doing new holes or doing something else, what they did instead is they just said, I'll just put it in, and it got cranked in. Okay, so being very careful to stay very straight with the screw, which is off at this odd angle. That's why you see the screwdriver at an odd angle. I'm sort of going to try to support the body here. I'm leaning down pretty hard, very straight. I still have a couple of fingers around here, just in case. And we're going to see if we can get this to come out. And look at that. Yeah, it's coming out without too much drama. Okay. Here we go. No problem. So the obvious question now is, what do you do with the screw? Where do you put it? What do you do with it? How do you fix it? Oh, well, that's easy. I'm just going to put it in my collection of cheap import parts. Okay, here we go, the moment of truth. What's in my Epiphone Les Paul? Let's find out. First, let's see if we can get this guy off. Okay. That doesn't look too bad. See that? It's a short switch. Looks reasonable. Let's see what's in here. I mean, we're not going to be able to reuse that. But if the switch weren't flaking out, that's something I would probably reuse. That looks like that looks pretty reasonable. All right, let's see what's in here now. Sake. All right. Well, what we have here is mass production gone awry. Let's see. We got these, oh man, presumably coming in from the pickups and connectors, and I guess this thing's coming from the switch, and and boards and all sorts of stuff that doesn't really belong in here. Let's see. I'm sort of looking at the solder joints here. I don't know. Some of them look okay. Others, there's like these big, soccer balls of solder on them. I mean, it hasn't even float out here. It'd be a miracle. I mean, I could probably just bang on it with a screwdriver. It might just pop off. I don't know. But anyhow, okay. So this is going to be a rewiring job here. We're not going to reuse any of this stuff, which is fine because these are this is set up with a coil splitting. Well, we're not going to do coil splitting in here. We're just going to have straight pots. I could probably reuse these tone pots, but by the time I get them out and clean them, I'll just, for a couple bucks, I'll just use real pots. And while we're at it, I'm going to replace the input jack with a nice Switchcraft jack. Okay, so let's just start taking it apart. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to get everything out in one piece without having to snip too many wires or do anything like that. And once I have everything out, let's put it on the bench and let's see what it really looks like up close. All right, here we go. Came out okay. Coming out okay. That one's a little stuck. That one came out okay. I have one here that's just a little bit stuck. I know the inclination Okay, yeah, it really is stuck. Now the inclination is to try to stick a some sort of screwdriver under here to get it up. You can do that. I used to do that, but I had this great tool from Stumac. Now I had a feeling that at least one of these would be stuck, so I grabbed it. This is a great tool. It's a little bit pricey, but you know what? It's worth every penny. You can make your own. I've made my own for pulling. This will pull bushings and things like that. I have made my own. In fact, I have them kicking around here somewhere. Just, you know, screws and MDF and stuff like that, and little bent pieces of sheet metal. But this Stumac tool is really nice. It's hard to argue with it. So get it underneath. So all you do, you just stick it underneath, you see? And then you have this nice soft face here that rests on the guitar, and you screw it up and it pulls it up without any drama. Great tool. Every pro should certainly have something like this. There we go. Let's take the second. Voila. Okay, so now let's get these off. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to release the switch. Now again, there's a tool for this that Stumac makes. Stumac makes a tool for everything, and some of them are pricey, but every one of them is really very good. There's just a handful of tools here that I have from Stumac that I really either don't like or don't think works well, or just think is a complete waste of money. There are a couple of those. Most of the tools are actually really good, and they're high quality, and they're well worth the money if you're an amateur or a pro. Certainly if you're a pro. You talk to pros who do this, and we'll all tell you that, you know, the Stumac tools are worth every penny. Most of us will. If you're an amateur and you do this a lot, they're worth it too. If you have a little bit of extra cash, you know, decide which tool is going to help you the most. They have this tool for working on these knurled nuts. It's great because it doesn't screw up the knurling on them. You know, traditionally people come in with pliers or the adjustable pliers or channel lock. Yeah, they try all sorts of stuff. This tool works really well. Just stick it over, tighten it down, and you unscrew it again. You know, no drama. And more importantly, no damage to your nut. Now in this particular case, I guess it didn't really matter because we were just going to replace it anyhow, but I guess I just grabbed that out of habit. Okay, leave that alone. Now I think this is probably it. I can see it's attached to this wire here. So let's get that connector off. Let's see, is that just a push to release? It is. And let's see if we can thread this through. Now I have a feeling that this may not come through all the way. It might get hung up on some wires. No, we were able to get it out okay. Alright, let's see. Who makes this thing? Yeah. You read that? Apparently it's made by Epiphone. Yeah, right. Okay. Alright. Let's get these guys out. See will that one work? I have the proper one. You can see oftentimes you can just take these off by hand. This is a 11 millimeter. I thought I had one. I thought I had a Stumac one. This guy. I mean I don't think I do. I know I do. I've been reorganizing my shop a little bit, and It got stuck in a drawer somewhere. But anyhow, yeah, you can just use pliers, but I just kind of poke them through. There we go. Put this back. And let's get the jack off. Again, for some reason, the normal size doesn't really fit very well. It could be that it's a different size, or it can be that it just doesn't fit very well because it's a piece of junk. Okay. And let's see, can we get that out? Yep, this one will actually pull out. And there we have it. Now there's some more connectors in here. Some of these things coming from the pickups. Yeah. Yeah, don't do this, guys. This is, yeah, just don't do this. See that locking? No, it doesn't lock, it just pulls off. Okay. It's almost free. One thing that we do need to do is remove this wire. Normally, I would desolder that. It's not even. It's not even sticking to the thing. I'm just gonna cut it off. This is going up to the bridge. This is going up to the bridge. I would normally do a nice job. I would desolder that and maybe reuse it, because you don't want to keep, if you cut it every time you go in here, it's gonna go, and one day it's gonna be too short. But in this case, I want to redo that end anyhow. There we go. He's free. The only thing we have left to do, but we are going to reuse this wire. So the only electronic part in this that we're going to reuse is the ground to the bridge. Yeah, look up here. It's stuff like this that drives me nuts. I mean, this just takes a minute to clean. You see all this crap here? That's polishing compound. That's just old polishing compound. And this is actually a bigger issue in the semi-hollows, like 335s or something like that. Oftentimes you'll just end up, the body will just be filled with polishing compound and other stuff, and it works its way into the pots and it makes a mess, and nothing works right. Stuff like this just really should be cleaned. It should just be cleaned. The customer shouldn't open up a guitar and find old manufacturing crap in here. It's just not right. So we'll vacuum that out. In fact, why don't we just do that right now? Let's get that cleaned up. Okay, let's get the pickups off. Again, even more important on the top, don't just start doing this. Be really deliberate. Protect the finish. So as I suspected, the front pickup ring screws are just a, there we go, just a little bit longer, just a little bit. Okay, that's the back ones, that's the front ones. But since these are the only 4 that are longer, not a big deal. We don't have to set them aside or do anything. We're just going to know that they're longer, and these short stubby ones probably wouldn't even work anyhow. So there's no way to screw this up. Okay. Now one thing I do want you to notice though is that these rings, and this is going to be a common theme that you're going to run into with carved top guitars. These rings are not the same. They're not. And not only are they not the same, but they only go in a certain way. Okay. Now let's look at them. The front one is higher, or the rear one. And I forget, is the bridge pickup the front or the rear? Everybody talks about the front pickup and the rear pickup. Which one is? I have no idea. The bridge pickup one is fatter, much fatter than the neck pickup one, you see? And more than that, they're angled. If you look at how they're angled, the thin part is towards the back. You see, they're angled like this because the strings go like this. If they weren't angled, these pickups wouldn't really sit right. We're trying to get them nice and flat. So what you want to do, at least, you should be able to figure out which way it goes just by thinking about it and going, oh, I want it to match the strings. The strings are going like this, so we want them to go like this. The strings are lower here, so we want the lower one here. They're higher here, so we want the higher one there. If you don't think you're going to be able to do that, or don't want to bother doing that, or want to make sure that you don't make a mistake, when you take them out, I don't know, put a little piece of tape on the bottom, mark them, do whatever you have to do so that you put them back in the right way. Because if you don't, you're not going to be happy, okay? So just make a mental note of that, or make a real note of that, whatever you need to do, and get them back in right when you put them back. Okay. Now, with any luck, these will just pull out. Again, it's disgusting. I'm hung up on something there. One of those fancy connectors. Okay. Now again, this thing is just full of polishing compound. I mean, it's just. All right. Well, let's clean it up. I'm going to clean it up, I'm just going to take a little screwdriver. I'm just going to loosen it up, and then we'll vacuum it out. Okay. Okay. I'm not even going to bother to vacuum this. One of the joys of having a real dedicated workshop with things like compressors and stuff is I can just do this. Just went over to turn off my compressor so that it wouldn't kick on. And I think I'll wipe it out too. It's really bad. It's really bad. Now, in these cavities, it's really not going to cause too much of a problem. You know, pickups aren't really sensitive to it. You really don't want it to be able to get to your control cavities though, because this stuff over time and vibration and playing and stuff, this is the kind of crap that works its way into your pots and makes them stop working over time. It's not the only thing. Obviously, just wear and dirt, that does it too. But a little bit of cleanliness in here certainly makes it a little bit easier to get some good life out of your pots. So I'm cleaning it out for myself. I would certainly never send a customer guitar back like this. I would ask them first. I would tell them, hey, it's just completely filled and caked with polishing compound. Would you like me to clean it and remove it? And they always say yes. You know, you always have to ask first, because there's some marker on there too. You know, you always have to ask first, because somebody's gonna not want it. You know, the polishing compound's got mojo. I don't know. I don't think polishing compound has any mojo. Maybe it just makes a mess. Makes a disgusting mess. That should be cleaned. And what I'm doing in here, there's the wiring channel. See that? Can you see that? Right in here. Goes way underneath the top and comes out the other side. That's where the neck pickup goes. Okay. That's where the switch goes to. The wire for the switch. Okay. Okay, very good. It's apart. All right. Let's get these electronics back together and let's see what they look like out of the guitar. Okay, so here we are. It's now all reassembled outside of the guitar. And I'm looking at it. So let's have a look and see what we really have here. Okay. A couple of comments here. Some stuff I really don't like. These connectors, I hate this. I hate this, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I really just despise this idea. At least right now I do. The craftsmanship, the workmanship in general. You know what? It's not great. Some of it's okay. Some of it is lacking. You know, there's some joints here which you look at, and it hasn't really flowed through very well. I mean, it just pops off. That's the ground from the bridge that just popped off. I mean, it's hardly even stuck on there. Other parts aren't too bad. Some of it is just atrocious. Let me show you this. This is the ground going to the jack. Let's see if we can focus in on that. There we go. See that? It's like the definition of a cold joint. I mean, there's practically like a hole in there where the wire is. That's atrocious. And then you look at the signal for it, and that's not too bad. So part of what we're seeing, and look at oh, good Lord. Look at this. You know, they didn't even bother. They didn't even bother to put that wire through. It's just so. Oh God, this is bad. I'm gonna actually cut this off so that you can get a better view. I just noticed it. All right, let's wait. Give it a second to focus. Oh, God. If you look, there's not even there's no solder on the backside there. There's no wire coming through on the backside. Nothing has really flowed very well. So basically, this wire is probably not even making contact with the metal on the jack. It's just floating in this big soccer ball puddle of solder that's just floating on top there. That's going to go in the collection. But overall, the thing, the thing works. Can you say, this is not an expensive guitar. Honest to God, from a manufacturing point of view, I understand why they're doing this, and it actually probably leads to a more reliable guitar in the long run. Because believe me, the less soldering that they do, the better it is. Okay. So in that respect, I sort of understand what they're doing, and these are probably reasonably well done. I mean, they're probably not even making these themselves. They're probably just buying the pigtails. They're probably professionally made. They look professionally made. I mean, this is what I'd expect to see from a trained tech. Well, they look nice. Well, things aren't pulling. Yeah, it looks nice. It's reasonable, and like I said, it probably does lead to a more reliable guitar in the long run, because when you buy a cheaper guitar like this, it has to be built down to a cost. It just has to be. You can't you can't start adding dollars here and there for more labor and inspection and maybe warranty issues or issues in the retail. You just can't. You have to cut corners, and this I can't even say that this is cutting a corner. I mean, these are well done. I like connectors. If I can put a connector instead of soldering, I like connectors. Connectors are good there, and when they're done right, good crimps are very reliable. It's very good. So, from a technical standpoint, from an engineering standpoint, I have no issue with this. But in a guitar, right? When you take this to a tech, and he has to work on this, you expect people to start crimping on connectors and stuff, and to have expensive crimpers to do a good job, and to have all these connectors and to do nobody's gonna have any of this crap. What are you gonna do when it's late and you have to get to a gig and something's broken, or you're on the road and something breaks and your tech has to do something about it? What the heck are you gonna do? This is very hard to work on. Yeah. Conceivably, I could rig something up. I could cut that off, and I could come in here and I could start soldering stuff onto here. But this, to me, this is completely inappropriate in a guitar. At least right now, where it would be appropriate is if there were some sort of standard, where everybody did the same thing. Good luck with that. That's pretty much never going to happen. But if that did happen, and we all did the same thing, and all these connectors all came on, and you never had to touch a soldering iron or do anything like that, then you might say, okay, this is a great idea. But in a guitar, yeah, just not really impressed. Don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Do not like it. But I understand why they do it. I would not rewire this just to get rid of this. I might go, here's another really bad joint, and another really bad joint. That's so sloppy. I would not rewire it just for the sake of getting rid of this. But certainly, if you're going to replace some pickups or do something like that, or if you're going to be in here, if you're going to be doing any work, spend a few bucks and just replace all the pots. Go, do some sort of reasonable wiring. So all these pots here, I'm probably just going to throw this whole harness out. These pickups, if somebody needs some pickups, I'll probably just sell them. It's got the connectors already on them, no soldering. There you go. So I anticipated that we were going to have to do some replacement stuff, and I thought, you know what? Why don't we just do it the way you guys would do it? You're going to go out to StuMac. You're going to order some stuff. Here are the pickups we're going to use. These are Duncan 59s. I really like Duncan 59s. Great pickup, not too expensive. I've actually had these in my shop for a while. These are pickups that I put in one of my own model guitars. Let me show you a couple things. What I normally do in my own model, I actually really like having a Duncan JB in the bridge. Like having a Duncan JB in the bridge, and I like having a 59 in the neck. But I also sometimes put a 59 in the bridge. So I happen to have them kicking around. We're going to use them. This one here, this is the stock. Yep. Yeah, this is just a stock 59 that's going to go in the bridge. It comes stock with a braided wire, a braided shielded wire, you know, old style pushback wire. I love it. On Les Paul, I usually do not do a coil split on it. I normally do a coil split on my own model because I think it fits a little bit better. I don't really like it so much in a Les Paul, so I don't bother. The Epiphone actually came with, I haven't gotten around to throwing this out yet. This does, on the volume knob, have a coil split. We're not going to do that. But you can order these pickups in the 4-wire configuration, and that's actually what this one is. It's a special order. But you can get it like this. It just costs a couple of bucks more, and this is what you'll get. If you just order it, if you order a 59 neck or bridge, you're gonna get the at least when I order it, I get the braided with the pushback. But you can do a special order, and you can get it with the 4-conductor cable, just like that. This is my neck. Yeah. Okay. So I haven't decided yet exactly how I'm going to do this. If I'm going to, what I may end up doing, I might do, and what I've done in the past, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do it here, is I might just cut this short, do all of my connections in here, and put a braided pigtail on it, because I really like this in the control cavity. If I don't have to have this kicking around with all the separate wires kicking around, I'd rather avoid that. Now I know this is like it's a sacrilege to cut your leads. I'm going to tell you right now that I cut my leads. I don't have any attachment to these leads, and if I don't think I've ever actually cut a lead and needed to make it longer again. I've saved some pickups like that, but I don't think I've ever actually done that. If you have to make it longer again, it's really not that big of a deal. And what you could even do, you can take the pickup, you can send it back to the manufacturer, and they'll put new leads on it for you. They'll put new wires on it for you. It's really not a big deal. So I cut mine. I think you should cut yours. You don't have to, but that's how we're going to do it. So I may just cut it right here. Maybe put a little bit of hot glue here to keep it all nice and stuck down and neat. And in the control cavity, I'll have my braided wire, which I think does a really neat job. And I like it, and I like the shielding on it, even though it's not a great shield. It is a shield. But I haven't decided yet. Let's see what happens when we get to it. So we got that, and I have my little goodie bag from StuMac. We've talked about before. I like StuMac. No, they're not the cheapest. They're not the most expensive, but they do have good stuff, and I like them, and I encourage you to use them. So here we go. Let's see what I got. Woohoo! Exciting. One thing I really love about StewMap is no packing peanuts. I hate packing peanuts. Are you listening to me? I hate packing peanuts. Stop sending me packing peanuts. I hate packing peanuts. I hate packing peanuts. But some of the suppliers I use, they do use packing peanuts. Small Bear loves packing peanuts. Oh God, I love Small Bear, but Lord, do I hate your packing peanuts. Anyhow, StewMap does not use packing peanuts. They use this, it's great, you recycle it, throw it out, do whatever you want. You can use it as packing material. In the winter time, it's great. I use this stuff as kindling for my fire. Let's see what I got. Now, we didn't go high end here. You can go high end. Really no reason to. I decided not to. Here we go. I have some pots, some A500K. What that means is audio taper, logarithmic. Actually, it doesn't really stand for audio. I don't think. There's A tapers and B and C, but an easy way to remember it at least is A is audio, B is linear. You can think of it as A is audio and B is the other ones. Those are the main ones you're going to run into. Let's see. I think C is reverse audio. Some other ones out there too that are used in for faders and EQs and stuff. But anyhow, we're going to use audio taper 500K on everything. We're going to use that for everything. Here's a good switchcraft. Oh yeah, that is so much better. We're going to look at that in a minute. That's a good switchcraft jack. With a couple of things I got here for the little tips. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to stay with the cream motif. I may actually replace the pickup rings, and I may replace the little knob here. I may just make everything black. I haven't quite decided yet. Thinking about it, I think I'm just going to keep it cream for now. But we may do that. Let's have a look at this. Let's see the switch. I want you to see the difference in the switch here. This is a quality switchcraft switch. This is a good switch. Very good switch. Oh yeah. Much better. Part of the problem with this switch from day one, the latching action is very hard to get it there, which isn't a big deal. The problem is it's very easy to get it there. It's very, very light. It does not lock in place very well. The switchcraft one is much lighter to get into the detent, much lighter to get into the detent, and actually harder to get out of the detent. You actually have to push on it. So the switchcraft switch, this is much better switch, much better switch. And it's just manufactured to a much higher standard. I mean, yeah. Okay. So that's it. We took it apart. We're getting ready to install some stuff. You saw what we're going to put in there. Next video, we're actually going to do it. So subscribe to my channel. Check out my website, www.jcolochiguitars.com. Check us out on Facebook. Check out all the other videos that we have. We're going to be doing lots more. And in the next video, we're actually going to install it. And maybe show you a couple other things, all right? So, see you back soon. Bye-bye.